discussion or action. Second session of public comments at the end of the meeting. It's for other communication that is not necessarily on the board's agenda. In order to speak at the meeting, please complete a card with name, topic, and turn in prior to the first segment. If you wish to speak and have not yet turned in a card, please do so now. The Board of Education will take all comments under consideration and respond if necessary in a timely manner. We ask that your comments address the board, not the audience. Limit comments to 5 minutes, and we expect participants to conduct themselves with civility and respect and follow guidelines outlined in board policy.
At Cross, we have no agenda-related topics.
All right, so we will move on to reports, administrative reports.
Okay, just a couple things tonight. First of all, we got to meet with the Lincoln faculty tonight. It was a great meeting. We got to hear a lot of specifics about the things that our teachers are doing in the classrooms, some of their pet projects, some of their favorite things to do with kids. And I particularly liked hearing about the initiatives that they're addressing. A lot of things having to do with talking with one another, meeting with one another, cooperating with one another. We heard a lot about clubs that have been started, even at the elementary level. The kids are getting involved in, and we think about, as we came out of COVID and kids were very isolated, getting them back out and getting them talking with one another and engaging with one another in these activities, getting them away from their technology and screens, and Lincoln is definitely doing that. One of my other favorite things that I heard about is they were bragging about our 3 Morton High School seniors that go there every afternoon and are employed as aides in the building. These are seniors who one day might want to be elementary teachers, and they were very thankful for this program that we've started. We have, overall through the district, we've got 10 people that are doing that. So I think the elementary schools have kind of split them up, and it's been a great blessing for the seniors and for our staff, and the teachers were very thankful for that. So I think we're getting a lot out of that, and we intend that just to continue growing. The topic that's on the agenda for tonight is just the Morton High School renovation project. The project's underway right now. We're already digging into the tunnels, and so we've closed the north entrance. The main entrance to our school is closed from the outside. We haven't closed anything on the interior of the building yet, but that's going to be happening on March 4th. Right now, they're digging from the outside into the tunnels. There's tunnels that run all the way along the athletic hallway, all the way to Bertha Frank. You can picture that very long hallway. There's tunnels underneath there of storm sewer and sanitary sewer lines that are 18 inches wide pipes that run that whole distance. They're going to be completely brand new. So we're tearing them all, right now they're pulling them all out, and they're going to be replacing all of that infrastructure below. So in this project, you look at the dollar figure, and it's a high dollar figure for sure, but we're replacing the infrastructure that's below the floor. We're replacing all the roofing that's going to be above the entire project, and of course making the whole main part of the project basically brand new. So I feel like that's a wise way to go. We didn't know we were going to dig into the tunnels when we first started, but as we started looking into the project, we saw pipes were leaking and they weren't all going downhill like they should, and so it's just a good time to do all that while we've got the project opened up. The new drop-off procedures, maybe some of you experienced that. I'm told that it's going very well, and they've been monitoring that. Our high school administrative staff have been out there looking to see how it's going, tweaking it if needed, and there haven't been a whole lot of tweaks. I think the only change that we made is athletic buses are picking up in a different location, but everything else seems to be working very smoothly, and I just credit Principal Ripka and the MHS administrative team for being very vigilant about the process, being very communicative, putting the information out there with maps and telling parents and the community how this is going to operate, because we've lost a big piece of our parking lot, and I think we're still conducting school. So kudos to them. Safety is our main concern. As you're starting any project, when you have students still on campus, safety is of the utmost importance. And I can tell you that the fenced-in area is very secure. It's very locked down because they tried to get out of it one time. So we were filming for one of the videos that we're going to do for the renovation project to kind of illustrate it. We were doing a couple of spots there, and so Andre White, our videographer couldn't get in, and I was trying to find a way to let her in, and nope, there's no way to let anybody in. That fence is screwed down to the wall, so it's pretty tight there. But come March 4th, we're going to be actually sealing off some of the interior spaces. So if you can picture when you normally come down from Student Services office to go into the gym, that'll be closed off. It'll be sealed off all the way around as you're kind of going around to the east gym side. It'll be sealed off around where the girls' locker room is. So you'll still be able to get into the east gym through there's like a little doorway through an office to get there, or you can go from the outside. But we're gonna start sealing off some of the interior space as this project continues. And we won't go beyond that end of the hallway until school lets out. So when students are out of there in May, at the end of May, we're gonna seal off even a greater part of that building as the project continues through the summer. So we're doing the best we can to utilize as much of the building as we can while we can. Safety is the main concern, so as you can probably imagine, our teachers have thought about rerouting for fire drills and tornado drills. Okay, we can't go there, because you can imagine probably a lot of students poured out of that north exit for a fire drill, and that's not gonna, so they had to reroute all of that. But they've just, I just can't say enough about the phenomenal job that the Morton High School administrative team has done to plan for this and to communicate it, and things are going really well. At our next meeting, I'm going to present to the board, just for public knowledge, what the presentation looks like for the renovation project. So what kind of presentation will I be doing at Rotary? Mrs. Rivka and I will be kind of tag teaming on a Rotary presentation. The forecast breakfast is coming up in April, so I'll be also presenting about that. So kind of as a test run, I'm going to present at the board meeting briefly and show you a lot of the architect renditions of what the interior space looks like, all the financials, how are we paying for this, what's our estimated cost, how are the phases worked out through this project. So all that will be in a presentation, and I'm pretty much done with it right now, but I have a few things that I want to tweak with it, and then at our next board meeting, I'll present that to the board. You can kind of see, okay, what are we talking about when we go out, and what do those images look like, and how do we plan to discuss this and communicate it to the public. So I'll get your feedback. So if you feel like there's something missing from it, we can add those things into the presentation before we actually go out and present it. So there'll be a video, there'll be a PowerPoint, it'll talk about the images, the phases, and the financials related to the project. So looking forward to that. And unless you have any questions, that's all I have for my report tonight.
A quick thing about the CHI, like the 10 students, is that the number 10, was that because that was demand from students who want to do it, or is that like we opened it up like we have 10 spots to do it?
We didn't really set a limit to it. I think last year we may have had 11, so we didn't set it at 10. We would take more, and we are paying them, but they're kind of taking the role of what would otherwise be an aide. So we have not set a limit. If there were 20 kids that said, "Hey, I want to do that," I think we would accommodate that.
Okay. All right. President's report. Well, Tim didn't give me anything to talk about, but I guess one thing is the Lincoln dinner. We got to go there before this meeting, and I think we all generally enjoy those and have a good time talking with the staff and seeing what their needs are, what's going well, what's going wrong, and I just always appreciate their time. And anybody can have to add to that? No.
I was just wanting to underscore how that really helps us with our district goal of communication, the meaningful two-way communication, and I think that is an excellent opportunity for all of us to practice that. And just want to add my appreciation for their hospitality tonight.
Absolutely. All right, agenda building. Anybody have anything for agenda building? All right, I guess we go on to action items. First action item and only action item is to approve the proposed high school AP biology textbook. I have a motion.
We move that the Board of Education approve the new biology textbook, biology for the AP course.
I support.
All right, before I vote, discussion, comments?
I would just say we had information about the book out on our website for 30 days. We didn't receive any written response or communication about it.
I think that's an excellent process to give our public an opportunity to share with us. And this has oftentimes been one where we get input, and so it was great that it didn't generate any concerns.
And I appreciate the team that approved it. It seemed like there was a pretty good, solid team that approved it. So.
I did enjoy reviewing the textbook, and just second what Jerry said. This textbook, I just wanted to share with the board, page 5 has this wonderful quote. It says, "Scientific inquiry provides opportunity to observe, investigate, and explain how natural phenomena occur. Examinations of questions not in the natural world, such as questions about religion, faith, and morality, are outside the realm of biologic scientific inquiry." And I just wanted to say what a bridge building introduction this book has. And it's a wonderful standard to attain to, and it leaves a place for parents and community leaders to teach religion, faith, and morality. And so the book leaves open for our community's values, and I really feel like it underscored for me just how wonderful it is to have faculty that understand that and can choose a book that Mrs. Holmgren said is the best book she thinks there is for this course, and yet, really acknowledging her efforts to just open our community to all schools of thinking on scientific inquiry, which was fun to review that book after being a biology major 20-something years ago.
Well said.
Dr. Kroll,
Yes.
Mr. Rudd,
Yes.
Dr. Cross,
Yes.
Mrs. Lehman,
Yes.
Mr. Neely,
Yes.
and Mr. Roth.
Yes.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Mr. Rudd,
Yes.
Mr. Neely,
Yes.
Dr. Cross,
Yes.
Dr. Kroll,
Yes.
Mrs. Lehman, and Mr. Roth.
Yes.
And before we move on, I just want to make a point about what you just approved there in the consent agenda. We received an anonymous donation of $5,000 to go toward Morton Junior High School volleyball uniforms from an anonymous source, so thank you to that person. And from Richard and Catherine Crane, $1,000 for the Morton Junior High School musical program, which if you got to see ELF, it was just fantastic. It's amazing the talent that we have, and so thank you to those donors. We appreciate that.
Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
All right. So we will move on to non-agenda audience presentations.
Did we vote?
Yes, we did vote.
We have two speakers tonight. The first one will be Brian Groth.
Brian Groth, parent in the district. I assume you may have received a memo from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. If not, I'm sure you will receive it soon. I have a copy for the record tonight. I'm going to read excerpts of it. I'm going to leave out much of the legalese, the legal references made by the organization, and I will not be reading the whole thing because it's 7 pages long. Dear Superintendent Smock and President Breaker, I'm writing on behalf of the Freedom from Religion Foundation regarding multiple constitutional violations in the Morton 709 District and the Morton 709 Board of Education meetings. FFRF is a national nonprofit organization with more than 40,000 members across the country, including over 1,200 members in a local chapter in Illinois. Our purposes are to protect the constitutional principle of separation between state and church, and to educate the public on matters related to non-theism. A concerned Morton community member has contacted FFRF to report a significant number of constitutional violations occurring within the district. We write to demand the district and the board immediately cease violating the First Amendment out of respect for the Constitution and the rights of students and community members. Public schools may not show favoritism towards or coerce belief or participation in religion. I'm going to read a few pieces of information that they brought to the attention of Superintendent Spock and President Breaker. It's our understanding that a Bible study is prominently advertised within the elementary school, including a sign-up table at the annual open house and promotion in the elementary school's newsletter. It's also our information that one of the leaders is a current school board member. Students and their families have the First Amendment right to be free from religious indoctrination in their public schools, including when participating in school-sponsored activities like open houses or accessing official school communications. It's highly inappropriate for the school to advertise a religious organization in such a way, much less allow a school board member to utilize her influence to engage in unconstitutional religious promotion. It's also understanding that Grundy Elementary School Principal Michael Saunders has repeatedly abused his position in order to engage in unconstitutional and inappropriate religious promotion. Alleged violations include display of 10 Commandments in his office. It's our information that Superintendent Smock is aware of this and agrees it's inappropriate, though we do not know if the display has yet been removed. Courts have continually held that school districts may not display religious messages or iconography in public schools. Also related to Mr. Saunders, telling multiple students and families whom he perceives to be part of the LGBTQ plus QIA plus community that being gay is a sin and gay people are going to hell. The district has an obligation to ensure that its employees are not using their positions to indoctrinate students. Certainly a school can direct a teacher to refrain from expressions of religious viewpoints in the classroom in like settings. The Supreme Court has recognized that families entrust public schools with the education of their children, but condition their trust on the understanding that the classroom will not purposely be used to advance religious views that may conflict with the private beliefs of the students and his or her families. Parents have the constitutional right to determine their children's religious or non-religious upbringing. Here, Mr. Saunders has violated the trust that our complainant and other parents place in Morton 709 teachers to follow the Constitution and refrain from imposing their own religious beliefs on the children they are responsible for. Also pertaining to Mr. Saunders, allowing Bible quotes to be used to bully kids perceived as non-Christian or LGBTQ plus allies, and restricting students from wearing clothing that expresses pro-LGBTQ plus messaging. This actively creates a hostile, anti-LGBTQ plus environment for students in violation of their civil rights and Morton 709's own anti-bullying policy. Also related to Mr. Saunders, giving a slide presentation at a school assembly entitled Pillars of Character, in which Mr. Saunders exclusively used images of Christian churches with physical pillars supporting part of the structures. The presentation did not include photographs of mosques, synagogues, or temples, or other public buildings. This clearly communicated to students that character and Christianity were the same thing. It's unconstitutional to take away the instructional time from students to engage in religious indoctrination that teaches that only Christians are capable of being good and moral people. It's also our understanding that a recent FOIA request uncovered tens of thousands of Christian nationalists and other extremist group emails in Principal Saunders' official school email account, in direct violation of Illinois law, the Illinois Educator Code of Ethics, and district policy.
All right, thank you, Mr. Grove. Will be followed by Heather McMeekin.
Heather McMeekin, on behalf of Peoria, Illinois Now. I'm going to leave off I'm going to start up where he had left off on this letter from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Religious testing for academic credit. We have also have received reports that students at Grundy Elementary School are being tested on their knowledge of a conservative interpretation of the Christian Bible and being given academic credit for their performance. It is also our understanding that the scores from this testing are shared with the classes so the students can publicly see who is or is not a good Christian, creating a divisive atmosphere that shames students who are from non-Christian families. Prayer at school board meetings. It is our further understanding that school board meetings have been consistently opened with exclusively Christian prayer, led by pastors invited to give the prayer after the opening gavel. The Supreme Court has consistently struck down prayers offered at school-sponsored events. In each of these cases, the Supreme Court struck down school-sponsored prayer because it constitutes governmental favoritism towards religion, which violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. The court's recent decision in Kennedy versus Bremerton School District did not alter the law regarding these kinds of coercive prayer practices, nor did it overrule these previous decisions. In the most recent case striking down a school board's prayer practice, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals reaffirmed that Establishment Clause concerns are heightened in the context of public schools, quote, because children and adolescents are just beginning to develop their own belief systems and because they absorb the lessons of adults as to what beliefs are appropriate or right, unquote. The court reasoned that prayer at school board meetings implicates the concerns with mimicry and coercive pressure that have led us to be, quote, particularly vigilant in monitoring compliance with the Establishment Clause, unquote. Students and parents have the right and often reason to participate in school board meetings. It is coercive, insensitive, and intimidating to force non-religious citizens to choose between making a public showing of their non-belief by refusing to participate in the prayer or else display deference toward a religious sentiment in which they do not believe, but which their school board members clearly do. Board members are free to pray privately or to worship on their own time in their own way. However, the board ought not to lend its power and prestige to religion or coerce attendees into participating in religious exercise. Adult involvement at the See You at the Poll event. Our complainant also noted that the district holds a See You at the Poll event and that Principal Saunders and other school board members actively participate in the event. Any religious events must be entirely student initiated and student run. While the district cannot prohibit students from organizing or participating in a prayer event, the Supreme Court has stated that public school staff members and outside adults must refrain from participating in the religious activities of students while acting within their governmental roles. Faculty monitors may not participate in any religious meetings, and non-school persons may not direct, control, or regularly attend activities of such student groups. See You at the Poll's official website recognizes that adults should not be involved in their events. See You at the Poll is a student-led event. Strong student leadership is crucial. Adult volunteers and parents should not take the lead at See You at the Poll gatherings. Many well-meaning adults take over and take away from the students by trying to lead out the prayers at the flagpole. This is not the intention for See You at the Poll, nor is it legal for adults to lead. Please step back or stay away and let the students grow and learn in their faith by leading. The best place for an adult to pray on the day of See You at the Poll is not on campus with the students, but on alternative locations. Furthermore, it is inappropriate and needlessly divisive for this district to allow its staff and outside adults to promote, participate in, and organize See You at the Poll events. Staff involvement in these, including congratulating students for attending, alienates and excludes non-Christian students, teachers, and parents whose religious beliefs are inconsistent with the message being promoted by the school staff. It's also a labor law violation, which I will point that out. Each of the allegations outlined above demonstrate a clear pattern of the district privileging religion over non-religion and a very specific interpretation of Christianity above all other faiths. Religion is a divisive force in public schools. The Supreme Court has repeatedly noted that, quote, school sponsorship of a religious message is impermissible because it sends the ancillary message to members of the audience who are not adherents that they are outsiders, not full members of the political community, and not accompanying message to adherents that they are insiders, favored members of the political community.
And that concludes our presentation.
All right, I have a motion to go into closed session for purpose of personnel and negotiations.
go into closed.
Support.
Mr. Rudd,
Yes.
Dr. Crawl,
Yes.
Mr. Roth,
Yes.
Mr. Neely,
Yes.
Mrs. Lehman,
Yes.
Dr. Cross,
Yes.
and Mrs. Lehman.
All right, take 5 minutes to tear down.